Hey, y'all.
All right. So one of our locations has an error to it. I think it's Twitter. Oh well.
We have an error.
Yeah.
Is it from that we're connected to, or is it?
It's. I think it's Twitter. Twitter just didn't click in, and when we went live, and I just had to re-click a button that made it work. So anyway, hey guys, welcome to episode 102 of Like the Way You Drink podcast. I am Tim Gillette, your co-host, along with my other co-host, Gladys Boutwell. The two of us have put a podcast together for 102 episodes where we actually talk about what we like to eat and drink. Nothing fancy.
Just fun stuff.
Just fun stuff. So tonight we decided to talk about some tequila. You know, I seen a meme this week. All right. And, my wife actually finished off a bottle of tequila we had in the refrigerator on Saturday night while we went to my brother-in-law's. Okay. That made me think of this meme. And I'm not going to say it the way it is because I'm going to be, shall we say, gentlemanly enough on the podcast.
Okay.
All right. But it said, just when does the taste of tequila switch to I want to wake up with her in the morning and not know where I'm at? That's how I'm going to phrase it. Yeah.
Well, I still like the 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3
tequila, 4. Yeah. Which I think I was going to put that down for the description of our podcast, and I did not tonight.
That's always fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm prepping my my Mexican street corn because got to do the Mexican street corn because why the heck not? And it's hard to find corn right now because it's not in season. So this one was I had to go hunting for corn.
I just went through my thing for hunting for tequila I had left. I still have a little Casa Noble in there, but the icon fell off the bottle. It's been in that long. But the favorite, remember we found this one last year? I have a full bottle of this, man.
So I got Lalo right here, as well as El Tesoro. So this particular El Tesoro, this is from Stafford Liquor. It's bottle number 228 out of 240. So there's only 240 bottles of this. And so that was kind of cool because it was made in Jalisco, Mexico, but it was the whole barrel was purchased essentially by Stafford Liquor. And so it has their name on it, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, Lalo Tequila. I had a Mexican friend of mine taste this because I was visiting here, one of my neighbors. And it's like going, and tasted it and went, wow, that is good stuff. So they really liked it. And I was like, okay, so it's.
Which I'm not going to use it for my first drink. I'm going to use the Casa Noble, but anyway.
Well,
I deviate a little bit because I could drink the Lalo all by itself.
That the soda is like that in Lalo, yeah, it's pretty easy to drink. So I got my Mexican street corn right here. And then of course the Mexican street corn is best made if you make it in the husk.
Yes.
And that way it keeps all the juiciness and plumpiness of the corn. So the way you do it is you throw it on the barbecue or under the broiler. But under the broiler, you do have to turn it, whereas on the barbecue, for the most part, it cooks pretty well until it's charred. Once it's charred, then you pull off the husk, and then here's this absolutely deliciously plump corn. Then you add butter, then Best Foods, of course, or Hellman's mayo. Then cotija cheese. If you don't have cotija, in this case, I do have some cotija. You can use Parmesan cheese. And then you top it off with some tahini and lime juice on top of that. And it is Mexican street corn. A lot of times in certain places, they cut it off the husk and they put in a little cup, if you will, when you're at the fairs. And that is called esquites. It's the same thing, only it's off the cob. The other thing I made, which looks kind of funky because it looks kind of funky, it's my queso fundido. So it doesn't look as pretty, but you can tell by the cheesiness of it that it is essentially cheese. And it is supposed to be stretchy. In this case, I added chorizo to it as well as some hatch chilies, green chilies. So it's got a little bit of a kick in there. I did upgrade my chorizo, so I didn't go with the cheap stuff. I got some good stuff so I can get some chunkiness in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will ask the difference between queso and queso fundido. So queso is usually your Velveeta type cheese where it's yellow and it's very, I don't want to call it runny, but it kind of sort of is. You dip your chips into it.
It's like Cheese Whiz.
Yes. Whereas queso fundido, it's usually a stringy cheese. So they're using manchego, they're using asadero, Oaxaca. So it's got that stringiness. You can also use mozzarella. And usually with fundido, there's other things in it. And depending on the region of Mexico that you're in, you might find like the pumpkin flour. That's usually in southern Mexico. Central Mexico, kind of Mexico City, you're going to find mushrooms in there, bell peppers and other veggies in there. And then if you're in northern Mexico, then you're going to find the chorizo, which in this case it's chorizo. So there's a little bit of history that comes along with this queso fundido, and some of it is that it's stated that it will have tomatoes in it, onions. This one here, I added onions, garlic, the chorizo. Well, I cooked the chorizo, then I sauteed the onions and the garlic, and then I added instead of the poblano peppers, I added hatch chilies because I had some, and then I added the chorizo back in there before I added the cheese. A lot of times you can either make it in a stovetop or campfire style. Part of the campfire is because they used to have the cast iron skillets, and that was the whole point of it, is to make it easy for the camperos to cook it when they were outdoors. The way that I made it is I threw it in the oven. So that is another way. And some places, what they'll do is that they will throw tequila on top of it or sherry and then light it. And so that's a queso flambeado because it's flames, kind of like bananas Foster's where you turn it on and it looks all pretty. But don't feel bad if you don't do it at home. You do not need to light it for it to taste good. But the queso fundido is usually eaten with corn or flour tortillas. Unlike the queso, the regular queso is usually served with chips. And it's very well known throughout Mexico, as well as now it's a little bit more popular, especially here in the US. But you really find queso fundido a lot in El Paso and New Mexico. And it's because it is stated that it was really starting in the northern part of Mexico, which makes sense because El Paso is like right there. When I lived there, 3 miles out, I could see, Mexico right there. So it was very easy to find. And so that's a little bit of the history of that. But use the cheese that you want, so long as it melts and it's stretchy. You can add all sorts of things in there to make it, kind of fun and whatever you may like. And some of them will even throw pasta in there. I personally would not throw pasta in there, but it is an option. But fresh cheeses, melty, stretchy, creamy, and then find the things that taste really good, and make sure that when you heat up your tortillas, you put them in a dish towel to keep them warm. Otherwise they'll go kind of hard. So that's kind of the thing with the queso here, or the queso fundido. So and you can just cut off the tortilla. This is a corn as well as flour, and then you can get your stringy cheese in there, and this is a little fun appetizer, usually shared at a table. That's pretty good.
See, and I grabbed me some of the chicken pot stickers. Some, veggie spring rolls that, things, appetizers I keep in my freezer.
Mm-hmm.
And just heated them up. I decided that's the snacks I was going to have tonight. I was going to focus more on the tequila because of the fact I mixed one drink with tequila.
Okay.
Some lime juice, some simple syrup, and some tequila. Very simplistic margarita. Can we call it the simple, easy margarita? I don't know.
Yeah. Why not? So with mine, I was looking at what do I want to make, and I had multiple recipes, and I went almost in the direction that I normally go to, which would be a Distrito Federal or a Tequila Manhattan. And it's because that is normally a Manhattan is made with American whiskey, sweet vermouths, and bitters. And that was invented back in New York in 1880. and it became a very popular cocktail that it made its way around the world. And so there was in the Distrito Federal, which is essentially Mexico City, it was one of the, oh my goodness, it wasn't a bartender, but it was somebody within one of the ranks, if you will, that they decided to play with it, and so they added tequila, and it became a tequila Manhattan. So it was made in Mexico City, and so it added reposado tequila, sweet vermouth, orange bitters, and then a lime twist, and then sometimes with the cherry optional. I did not have reposado. I have añejo, and then I had the blanco. So I was like, okay, well, I could use añejo, but it just, and the añejo is, it's aged for at least 3 years. So I was like going, the reposado is a little bit lighter. And because of the oak, between 12 months to 2 years and its distillation, it was going to be a little bit lighter. This was going to make it really strong. So I said, no, not that. Then I found the añejo tequila old fashioned, which this one has the agave, which is the sweetener. Then you have your bitters, your orange peel, your añejo tequila, which this one would definitely fall in line with that. And then brandied cherries. And that was another one that I thought, okay, well, I don't have agave nectar. I hadn't gone to buy it, but it looked delicious. And that was my other one. The one that I thought, ooh, maybe I'll do that one. It's the new old fashioned, which is añejo, simple syrup, bitters, and an orange peel. And I went, that's kind of like your simple, easy, new old fashioned, so simple, easy tequila, simple, easy, old fashioned.
I think I'm going to call that the simple, easy, old fashioned.
I like that. It's very simple, very basic, nothing major on it. And then the Mexican firing squad, which has the blanco tequila, which would be this one, lime juice, grenadine, and then bitters, which I have all the things. And then you serve it with the lime wheel. So that one I was like, ooh, I'm going to do that. That was the one that actually was my go-to, because all you do is throw everything in the shaker, shake it up, and then you strain it over a rock glass over fresh ice, and you garnish with the lime wheel. Now, Patron tequila, they state top it off with soda water, and you garnish it not just with the lime wheel, but also a cherry. So that is another option. So with tequila, you can add soda water, club soda, things of that nature. And then the other thing that I found, which was kind of fun, that I have to share with all of you, because sometimes we do talk about you don't always have to have alcohol in your cocktail. And it's the See You on Wednesday, which is a non-alcoholic spicy margarita. And that one has the jalapeno slices, the fresh, not the pickled stuff. Cilantro, agave, again, the agave nectar, celery juice, lime juice, and then they have a few drops of salt solution, which is essentially salt with water that's been melted and then put in there. But it's essentially, you muddle the jalapeno, you muddle the cilantro, you muddle it with the agave nectar so it gets the juices and all the stuff out. Then you add the celery juice, the lime juice, the salt in there. You add ice, you shake it. And then you get your tajin, because you always have to have tajin handy.
I just have tequila handy.
And then you can put it on your glass, with a little bit of lime. You put it in there, and guess what? You now have a delicious, which I'm going to have to try it, non-alcoholic spicy margarita. But then what I ended up going, I said, with all of those recipes, I said, you know what? The one that grabbed me afterwards was the Matador, which has silver tequila, pineapple juice, where's my pineapple juice, fresh lime juice, simple syrup, which I have right here, bitters, which are right here, and then a lime for garnish. So that's the one I'm going to go with. And that's going to be with the Lalo tequila. And then I thought, well, I could always decide if I'm going to have just the añejo, just as a little sipping after dinner. Or just, you can make another cocktail with that. But that's what I decided I'm going to go with today. So, and really anything there's so many things you can do or pair with tequila. You got tacos, you have fish tacos, regular tacos, ceviche. You can do steak, that heartiness. You can do corn, you can do credute, you can do charcuterie. So there's so much that you can do, that you can pair, or anything with lime in it. Anything citrusy will go very well with tequila.
Yeah.
So
That's my lime soy sauce.
your lime soy sauce.
Lime, soy sauce, a little bit of lime into it for my
Oh,
pot
yeah.
stickers. Yeah. Try it.
Oh, okay.
Really interesting. As I know lime goes with tequila, so that's why I did it.
Yeah, and then if you have a good tequila, you don't need a chaser. You don't need the lemon and the salt. And then I have you want to respect your tequila, so you want to serve it in a pretty glass, something like this. You want to serve it in a flute, whatever it is, not a shot glass. This is the closest to the shot glass, but it was Dream Big, Drink Tequila, and it's Los Dos Carnales Tequila. So this one got to meet the owner, so I thought it was kind of fun. So I'm like, I got to bring it in, whether I use it or not, don't care. I gotta thank them for my little oversized shot glass. This is not your traditional shot glass there. So
I'm
so
just drinking it out of my whiskey glass.
There you go. Yeah, your whiskey glass. You got to respect your tequila, because we are not, as I said when I did that presentation a couple months back, I said, we're not 22 years old. We're not at the bar. We're not shooting, just doing shots of tequila. It's not 1800. You got some good quality tequila. Let's respect the tequila. Let's respect what we're drinking.
Well, most people, when we talk about tequila, most people, I guarantee you, most people have never stopped and sipped on tequila like this.
Right.
They have never done it in their lives. They really couldn't tell you the real flavors in tequila because they've mixed it in a drink, or they did it down, or they downed it in a shot and then chased it with something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when you and I, we've actually taken drinks and sipped on them.
Yeah.
Just by themselves, and that was one of the main things I wanted to do tonight. Was just, yes, I have some that I mixed up my cheap margarita with some lime and simple syrup, but
it wasn't cheap. It was a simple, easy margarita.
Simple, easy, yeah. But I just put an ice cube in some Lalo tequila, and I can sip this like I do my moonshine, my whiskey, anything.
Yeah, and that's part of the fun.
And
you're trying new things is really savoring. And when you get some good tequila and you are pairing it with some good food, seafood, that was one that I was like, oh my goodness, that was so good. That's part of the fun of it, is to experiment and really enjoy your cocktails. So I'm going to put me on mute because this is going to get loud and my microphone.
Shake it, baby. Shake it, baby. Shake it, baby. Shake it. I love it because I can hit a button and make her come off mute. I really could. I won't do that to her, but I'll just tease her that I will. Guys, I only have tequila in two forms tonight. One with some lime juice into it, and one all by itself. And I'm going to tell you, if you have not gotten a chance, this is my favorite tequila now. All right, here, this Lalo tequila, because I literally can sip on it all by itself. I smell the lime, I smell the salt into it, and when I taste it, it's almost like that seasoning I would put on a steak.
Yes, it's so I'm going to put this out here. Come on, let's see your cheers in here. Yeah, that is.
Hold on, I can do my cheers.
I love it. It's too cute. This is really good. That balance with the lime and the pineapple. I thought the pineapple was gonna overrun the lime, but it is really good. So I'm gonna now try it with my corn and then with my queso to see how that tastes, because I think that's gonna go very well. Mm. Mm. That is really good. It really it brings out the lime in there. I really like that. That's good stuff. And now I'm going to have it with my tortilla with my queso fundido.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing with tequila, though. We really joked about the 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor. I do have to say, most people have no idea how much the kick of tequila is because it does go down rather smooth.
Yeah, especially if you have good quality tequila.
Yeah.
So with my queso fundido, because of the chorizo in there, so the chorizo is spicy. And a lot of times when you have carne adobada, they put pineapple in there. Mm-hmm. So you got the spiciness with all the spices and the achote that's in the meat. And then the pineapple, so that sweetness, but yet you got that citrus in there. Mm-hmm. With this matador, this goes very well. I mean, I liked it with the corn because that citrus went well, but with the queso, I think because of the chorizo, it just enhanced each other. The pineapple was like came out. It was like a little bit more forward. And in the chorizo, that spiciness of the chorizo came out and went, here I am. So that was really good. I really enjoyed that. That's very easy to drink. It's an easy drink that you can have. And there are so many more tequilas now. Patron has a lot of different ones that have coffee in them. Some of them are flavored, so some orange flavored ones. So there's a lot more tequilas that are more mainstream that are out there, and some higher quality tequilas also that are just absolutely delicious. There was one that I left that I was like going, oh, I haven't opened the bottle. And then, of course, I have my Casa Noble that if anybody opens it, you know, their hand's going to get cut off, you know, because no, that does not get opened. And there are certain tequilas that it's like, no, you don't put this in a mixed drink. You know, Lalo I know is good, but I needed a blanco. So I didn't want to open or I still had a little bit of Patron, but I said, you know what, sorry, Patron, I'm going to go with Lalo on this one. I wanted to bring out El Tesoro, you know, so that was kind of the direction I wanted to take with this. But that, this cocktail, easy to make and easy to drink. Easy, you know, it was really nice. So Matador, pineapple juice, lime juice, simple syrup, a couple of dashes of aromatic bitters, and your tequila, your blanco tequila.
I think I'm trying to the tequila we had Gwen used up over the weekend. We took it to my brother-in-law's house. Was the 1800. You ever used to have the 1800? Mm-hmm. I used to always have Patron in my house, but until I found the Lalo and Casa Noble, and now I don't. Yeah. Now those are the ones I have in the house.
When after we had buried my mama, we went over to my sister and brother-in-law's house, and of course the nephews were there. And one of the great nephews was making micheladas, and I was happy with the micheladas. And my second nephew, he saw, Tia, I'm going to go get some tequila. And I said, okay, get some good tequila, get some good stuff. He said, okay, Tia. And then he goes and he comes back with 1800. And I was like, really? I told you some good tequila, not 1800. I'm not 22 years old. He just laughed because here he is in his 30s. And he was like, I said, I will continue drinking my micheladas. You know, it was like, nope, I don't need a headache. So sorry, 1800. Yeah. Just not going to go that direction.
There is worse, you know.
There, most definitely.
Can I just say the name Jose one time? Yeah. I know that's what everybody thinks of, Jose, but no.
Right. Yeah.
I may have some little bottles of Jose up here. I think I'm.
Yeah, I don't even know that I even have little ones, but one of my teams when I was in Texas, that I was going to Vegas, and they gave me a list of things to do, and one of them was do a shot of 1800, and I said, I'll do a shot of tequila, but it ain't going to be 1800. So I picked something else, and I had pictures taken, you know, with my tequila, and, you know, did my shot. I picked something better.
You know, we talk about top shelf versus bottom shelf.
Yeah.
You will pay about the same price for this bottle of Lalo than you will for a bottle of 1800. They're very similar in price point. I don't think they're that far off from one another, and 10 times better. So I'm trying to remember what I paid for it.
Oh. And I don't remember seeing Lalo in small bottles either.
No, it does not come in small bottles.
So just know that you're not going to get the small bottles, but this is one time that I'm going to tell you it is worth spending the money on it because price point is not bad.
Yeah.
You're not
Friday night, one of our friends hosted got Total Wine and More wine party, hosting party for it. And while I was there, I don't get to the Total Wine store because it's way down in Plano by where I used to live. So I went and just walked through the store and found something that I knew was coming out, but I didn't know that they had it here in Texas. It's not tequila. It's not wine. But I'm pretty sure you know what it is. What do you think it is? That I would want to get. Huh?
A vodka or a moonshine?
A moonshine. Oh, I don't even have it on my back thing here. Dang it. I don't know where I put it. I have to look. Oh, it's up here.
I was going to ask if you had hidden it.
Oh, no. I haven't even opened it yet. From the TV show Moonshiners, Mark and Digger. This is a special blend they made for their original that they used to do in the woods. They made for Sugarlands.
Okay. Nice.
And I knew it was coming out in January. I just wondered if it was ever going to make it to Texas. I thought I had to go to Tennessee to get it. And sure enough, they had it.
You do not have to go to Tennessee to get it. You can still go to Tennessee, but you don't have to go there to get it.
But you know me. I'd go to Tennessee to get it if I had to.
Mm-hmm.
It's a drive, but yeah. Anyway, that was the one ad I did over the weekend. And then as I was prepping I was getting my stuff ready over the weekend looking for the show. I'm just like, I've got so much tequila on my bar. I'm just going to bring the two best out. I wasn't going to go buy more tequila.
Yeah, I knew that I was going to pull out Lalo and El Tesoro.
Yeah.
Those were the two that I knew were going to. So my thought was, what am I going to pair it with? So I was going to get scallops, and make scallop tacos or a scallop ceviche, but they had it on sale. So everybody picked it up. So by the time I got to Kroger, it was gone. So that was one of them. The other thing was tacos de carne adobada. But I had to go to the Mexican market for that. But then I was like going, you know what? The queso fundido was what kept bringing me back. And they had all the stuff in there. So I was like going, you know what? I'm just going to go with the queso because I haven't made this. I don't know that because I've made queso before, but never queso fundido. So this was different. And I had been thinking about chorizo because I haven't had chorizo in a long time. Make sure if you can get the chorizo at like a farmer's market, you are so not going to regret it. You're going to get some good quality chorizo there. There's this one place that does have chorizo, but I haven't been to the farmer's market and he's only at certain ones. So I couldn't get that one. So I just went with what Kroger had.
Yeah.
I picked up the cheap stuff and I'm like, you know what, Cacique, I know that you're fine. You're good, but I wanted the chunks of the chorizo in my queso. So that's why I was like going, nope, I'm going to spend a couple dollars more and upgrade because I want that chunkiness in there, not just the flavor of the chorizo. I wanted those pieces that I could like bite into. So there's a difference. And always remember, take it out of the casing. It's got to come out of the casing and make sure you cook it all the way through because you're going to be sorry. You're going to end up with a tummy ache. So
that sounds like work. But we all know what Tim's favorite food is, all right? Because all he has to do is take it out of the damn wrapper and eat it.
You do more than that. Well, Gwen does more than that.
Yes, but I will say the other great food that I like that you just take out of the wrapper and eat is tacos, ladies and gentlemen. Let's face it.
There's that.
Yeah, because there's so many tacos from so many places you just take out of the wrapper and eat. Man, that's just good, just that way, baby. So another one here, Robert. Moonshine triggers the memories of Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, I do like the fact that the TV show Dukes of Hazzard really never showed you alcohol.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember ever seeing it.
It was implied that they were moonshine runners, but it was never really talked about in the show. The movie, it was talked about.
Oh, yeah. See, I think I was too young.
Well, that's it. I might not remember too because I was too young.
Yeah, so I don't, even if they would have implied it, I would not have figured that out. I was too young to get it. But yeah, I remember the Dukes of Hazzard and Daisy Duke and having them.
I know. Every guy on here is all they think of Dukes of Hazzard and they think of Daisy Duke. I think of Dukes of Hazzard and I think Dodge Charger.
Going over the hill.
Something like that.
They'd always stop at, a freeze frame at, while it was up in the air.
Yeah.
That was always the fun part. Oh. Mm. So this corn, I will say, because it's not corn season, they had 4 ears of corn in a little container. Of course, no husk. Then they had another 4 ears of corn in a container, no husk. But that second one had the mayo, it had the feta, it had the lime. It did not have the butter. I don't know why. And then it had this other stuff that looked like taco seasoning. And I was like going, yep, not using that. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to use my tajin. I'm going to add butter to it. The corn looked still pretty good. So I went with that one. Price was the same. So I had to wrap it up in order to cook it because I threw it in the microwave since I'm at the office. But it's still good corn. So they're smaller than you would get during, peak season. But, you're throwing all the goodies and it tastes really good.
Well, that's good.
And it's good mayo.
Good point there, Robert. Yes, Daisy's first car was a 74 Plymouth Satellite. I remember that too. I thought the Satellite was much cuter than the Jeep. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that.
I'm still looking for, I'd like to have Uncle Jesse's pickup, truthfully.
There you go. Oh.
That's the pickup. Well, no, I looked at one yesterday that it's a little bit newer than that one, about 4 or 5 years newer than the one was Uncle Jesse's. But that I may end up get is my around the house pickup truck. I got to get a truck and trailer to go get it. But
yeah, with everything you're doing around the house, you need a pickup truck.
No, I just want a pickup truck, and rather than buy another brand new one at 80 grand, I'll buy something that I can use to run to Home Depot and back. So.
I am thoroughly enjoying this corn.
Corn's always a good thing, and corn done right. There are so many different ways you can do that corn right. All right, and aside from your recipe, I would just take regular corn on the cob. I've done it with a garlic butter and put some there's paprika on it.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of cumin.
Ooh, yeah. That sounds yummy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Got to experiment. What can I say?
So, this combination of corn and flour tortilla is pretty good. I hadn't tried it before, but I do like that. And I love flour tortillas, but depends on what I'm eating. I sometimes would prefer corn, but this time I'm like, you know what? Let me do the combination. Check it out. See how I like it.
In this house here, Gwen prefers corn. I'm trying to think. I can't remember what my mom gets. I think my daughter and I both do flour. So
this combination is pretty good. Now you're going to find all sorts of tortillas. There was wheat tortillas. There was low carb tortillas. There was plant-based tortillas. I'm like, plant-based, but.
Yeah, they had a spinach one in the stores here a couple years ago. It was all right. Yeah, I'm not going to, it made for a healthier, but.
I have my particular riquísimas that I like. But I gave this a chance. I do not like doughy tortillas.
Yeah, so I can see that. You got to crisp them up a little bit.
Well, the thing is with those doughy ones that even if you crisp them up, they're still doughy. Now, one thing you can do with those, which I was going to do and I completely forgot until this very second, you add a little bit of oil to a bigger pan, and then you fry the flour tortilla, and then you ingest it with sugar and cinnamon, and then you got buñuelos.
You keep saying these strange names, girl. I don't understand what these names mean.
It's like adjusting. It's like this little flour concoction that you fry. And once it's fried, it's all airy and fluffy. And so when you add the dusting of sugar and cinnamon, oh, it is so yummy. You can have that as dessert.
Can I put ice cream on it?
You can. Well, you would put the ice cream and then you'd break those into pieces and you'd leave them right there, and then you would eat your ice cream with your buñuelo. Or you could just put whipped cream on it and a little bit of, that's the way they would do it in El Paso, is the buñuelo, the whipped cream, and then a little bit of strawberry sauce on top. And that was pretty good too. That I would eat. And so it just depends. Yeah, you got to try the stuff. You got to try the stuff. It's when you're at a good Mexican restaurant, you'll have all sorts of yumminess that you've played with, and you're going to enjoy. And definitely this queso you cannot have with chips, because you need to pull it and and stretch it. So with the tortillas, it's coming out pretty good. I think this is going to be my dinner.
Oh, I think Mom's got beef something or other over there. I got to go get after we're done the show tonight. But yeah, I only ate a couple of snacks to get me through. But I had cheesesteak for lunch. Gwen got all the stuff to make cheesesteaks last night, and she left to go on the road for the week. And she's like, "Well, there's leftover cheesesteak." So I took it all out. I put it in a pan and chopped the onions up, and fried it all up in the pan with some good cheese, and melted all the cheese into it, and turned it over and turned it over and turned it over. And I said to my daughter, don't tell Gwen if mine was better.
So with the this is so clear, it's barely yellow.
Yeah.
And this is the añejo, the El Tesoro. My corn's pretty much gone, so I'll see if I can.
Well, wait a minute. When you're tasting your tequila, do you like it to be clear, or do you like it to be yellowish?
Depends on if it tastes good. If it tastes good, doesn't matter what the color is. You're gonna, the darker it is, the more flavors you're gonna get out of it. And just remember, this is not wine, so don't stick your nose in there. Otherwise, you might be, feeling it all the way up your nose, and it's gonna make you cry. So
what's wrong with that?
Well, maybe if that's what you want.
I smell my tequila just like I smell my brandy.
So with it, go like this, and you'll smell it. And then what you want to do is take one sip and then a second sip. And the reason is the first sip is going to cleanse your palate. The second sip is where you get the full flavor. So that one's cleansing the palate from what I've been eating and drinking. And then, it's got a little bit of a spice. And it's probably because of the chorizo has the spice there. So it's like hitting all the stuff. So let's try the second. Now the smokiness is coming out. So I'll see if I can grab some corn off of this thing and get a flavor in there. So I got the butter and the lemon in there. So the spiciness is coming out from the tequila. So I'm going to move on to the chorizo and see how that does.
Okay.
The chorizo and the cheese, and see the flavors there, how those fare.
Tell me about it, girl. Tell me about
it. So it definitely brings out that spiciness from the chorizo. So I'm feeling a little bit more oaky, a little bit more spicy.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie is absolutely right. It almost feels like I'm drinking a whiskey. It's like that smokiness in there, that, flavor. That's quite interesting. I was not expecting that, but yeah, I think all the spices within the chorizo with the cheese, and then you add the single barrel añejo tequila that has been in old Scotch whiskey barrels. So you got all those flavors coming together, and I think that's why I'm tasting as though I'm drinking a whiskey when I did that. I was like, that's what I tasted. I'm like, whoa, this is a good whiskey.
Wow.
Yeah. So the different flavors based on what you're eating, y'all, that's sometimes part of the fun, is really paying attention to what am I eating, what am I drinking, and what am I tasting when I eat and drink this together. And you cannot be dainty. You can't be all, oh, I'm going to do. When it comes to queso, it's you try to use the fork. It's not going to be pretty. Just if you want to use the fork to help you cut pieces of it, it's using your fingers. So don't expect to be all dainty and proper when you're having queso with your tortillas. So it's just one of those things that be okay with it and just have napkins.
Uh-huh. Ah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was not sure what to expect with my drinks today.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy with it.
That works, girl. As I said, I just wanted to sip on tequila, so I got my wish.
It's almost like with that smokiness, it's almost like a single malt scotch. Just giving that full flavor in there. Wow. I'm not mad at this. This is pretty good. It's pretty good.
That's a good thing. So
it's a good choice. I will blame it on Tim. He's the one that chose tequila this week.
One tequila, two tequila, three tequila, four.
But this is and just if you're drinking tequila, just be very
Pace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Tequila you never know what it's going to hit if you keep going. And it doesn't give you a warning when it does hit.
And just remember, if you're drinking cheap tequila, you're probably going to end up with a headache. And it might make you sick. So don't do the cheap tequila. Drink something good.
Life's too short to drink cheap tequila.
Mm-hmm. Life's too short to drink anything, that's not quality. So,
well, the two mottos for today's podcast is there's one tequila, two tequila, three tequila floor, and life's too cheap to drink cheap tequila.
That's right. So I'm pretty happy. I'm content. I'm actually pretty impressed, even though I was like, when this doesn't look as pretty as I wanted it to be. It's sometimes you can do it on a cast iron skillet. You can use it in the cazuelas, which is this ceramic, heat resistant little pot. I ended up making it in a glass container. Then I transferred it to 2 smaller glass containers because I didn't want to reheat everything because I knew I wasn't going to eat it all. And you can do it stovetop on a good pan also. So it just depends. Don't use your cheap pans because the chorizo will stick. And then when you're trying to unstick it, you'll end up scratching it. It's, just good. Use your good stuff and use either a silicone or a wooden spoon. I usually use wooden spoon when I'm working with chorizo because I'm going to break it up. And so I'm like doing the thing and I don't want to scratch my pan. But you can definitely do it on the barbecue. Use a cast iron skillet. Do it on the barbecue. And it will, if you're using the manchego or the Oaxaca, oh my goodness, that just melts just beautifully. I used in this one mozzarella because I couldn't find what I needed. I needed the asadero or the Oaxaca. By the time I found the Oaxaca, I'm like, well, I can have this much mozzarella, and so I ended up sticking to that. You can combine your cheeses. So I could have added some Oaxaca. You could do combination of cheeses, I don't suggest cheddar for this. You can use cheddar for the queso, but not the queso fundido. So if you're going to be adding other things, I wouldn't go with cheddar. That's going to be different. So, and I didn't want to buy the pre-made stuff because I went, it's probably going to be okay, but I wanted some good stuff. And I'm pretty glad I did this because now I have some leftover chorizo and eggs. So I can make that separate as a breakfast.
Yep. So.
Good stuff.
It is. So it's a good week here for tequila and snacks. So I know mostly we usually would do tequila in May a lot, but we decided to throw it out this week. Just it's something I had on the shelf, and I'm like, I got good stuff on the shelf. I want to taste it and talk about it. So Oh yeah, next week we'll be doing a recorded show anyway. We won't be live. So, but it's just like as we go through the weeks. Last year we tried to fit into everything. Well, we don't want to fit into anything this year.
Yeah, we want to have fun with it and
have fun with it. Why fit into the world's mold of what we're supposed to drink?
Yep. We're going to go with what feels good, what tastes good, what might be on our shelves, what we might be itching to, sometimes it's like going, I've been craving in this case for me, chorizo. I'd been craving chorizo. And when I was looking at options, I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And then that's what I did. So.
Yeah. Well, I have a beef recipe I want to do because you guys know I made my barbecue sauce with whiskey. I've got a beef recipe I want to do with Dr. Pepper. You know what I mean? There's things I want to try out there. All right. But then I got to have a drink to go with it. I got to have something to sip to go with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm starting to clear out some of the whiskeys that I wasn't drinking. I'm just putting them out there in the main bar and letting Gwen drink them over. She comes home from work, has either a whiskey or a margarita at night or a martini at night. And I mean, I used to do martinis at night. I don't do martinis anymore as much as I used to. I'll sip on it, but I'm just not.
Yeah, I was in my martini kicks in my late 20s, maybe early 30s.
Yeah.
That's when I was drinking martinis, and then I got past it as I moved on to something else.
Well, no, I go in cycles of what I like and want to do. And I was talking about my daughter Jess about this over the weekend. Like, my wife was at something for business, so we're having to cook here. And basically, I pulled up steaks and pierogies. It's stuff we had in the house. And I said to Jess, I said, if it was up to me, I'd buy a bunch of this and I'd make it until I was sick of it. And then I'd switch to chicken something or other until I was sick of it. And that's the way I am. Well, I'm that way with drinks too. All right. I want to sip on whiskeys. Then I want to do bourbons. Then I want to do cinnamon whiskeys. All right. Then I want to do flavored vodkas, and a lot of times I don't do a lot of mixed drinks, really. Truthfully, I don't. I drink straight up stuff a lot, and I'll drink it until I'm done with it. And I'm like, okay, I want to break from that, and I'll switch to something else, and one of the things that I've not done straight by itself in a while was tequila. And I have a friend here in Dallas. All right. You guys know from Craig, who was on a couple of weeks ago, is Craig. And I both know this guy he has a TV studio. He used to be a TV newscaster here in Dallas.
Okay.
Jeff Crilly. And Jeff, actually, when you get on to Jeff's office, that's half the time. If I get on to Jeff, and then I sit in Jeff's office after I'm there, Jeff and I sip on tequila. You know what I mean? That's just what we do.
You got to have your favorite things. What do you enjoy? What do you like? And then enjoy it. You got to like the way you drink. If you don't like it, don't do it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, switch. But then you don't have to sit that this is what I drink and this is the only thing I drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's switch it up a lot, When you're sick of something, move on to something else. That's all. And that's what I do in this house. And I'm probably gonna finish this Casanova out next week.
Right.
Ask me next week's episode if it's still here, because I got very little left in the bottom, and I'm gonna make a sip out of it every day for the next week.
Yeah, I have a whiskey that I have like this much left.
Yeah.
It's probably maybe an ounce, maybe, and it's been sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to want to drink that. It's a pretty bottle and I kind of like it, so it's just been sitting there because I'm like, I don't know if I want to finish it, but I probably should, get rid of the bottle, although it is a pretty bottle. Sometimes with certain bottles, it's kind of, you don't want to get rid of them, but play with what you like and enjoy it, sip on it, and also know which ones you don't like. And if there's things you don't like, I know somebody that
on my wife's bar.
Yeah. They're like, nope, won't drink tequila. That's one thing we'll not do. Because of it's like going, nope, I become mean when I drink tequila. It's like, okay, let's not have you drink tequila. We don't want a mean person. We want somebody
I know a lot of people like that. They have a reason they don't drink tequila.
Yeah.
And that is the one I hear the most of. I don't drink tequila and I hear it because, and I personally, to me, it's just like, I don't not drink anything. You know what I mean? But when I drink it, I want to drink it for a while and I'll take a break from it. And it's probably why I have 4 different vodkas out there, 3 different tequilas, 3 different gins, 7 different bourbons,
Yeah, my stuff will last a long time. There's certain ones that I had a bottle of scotch that lasted me 11 months. And on that 11th month, I'm like, this is the last of it. And I was like almost reminiscent and going, oh my goodness, I'm putting it away. It's the last sip of it. And, but it lasted 11 months. And there's others that are kind of yeah, this is fine. It'll last a few months, so it just depends. But if you're enjoying it, that's you have your go-tos and then you have your special ones. So just enjoy.
I had that. I don't know if you remember. We did it on the show probably a year and a half ago. That Jim Beam Black Cherry. I had to buy it. I remember because up here the local distributors I have, the local liquor stores, a lot of the stuff that I get have only big bottles of it. They don't have the small bottles like they used to. Right.
Yeah.
So you end up with this big bottle of it. Well, I still have that huge big bottle in there, and a flavored bourbon like that, I'm not going to drink it all that much. It does go very well with Dr. Pepper. All right. Doesn't mix well with Coke. Mixes okay with cherry Coke, right? The cherry mixes, but yeah, it's just not one that I drink. Now, same thing with cinnamon bourbon. I've always had the cinnamon bourbon whiskey here because of the fact that I make my barbecue sauce with it.
Yeah, and I have my cinnamon bourbon right there. It's in the cabinet. I haven't tried it since the last time we did something with it. So
it's not Fireball, ladies and gentlemen. We don't do Fireball. I think that's the one. That's the one alcohol. If they offer to sponsor us, I think we turn them down.
Yeah, we go sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
But it's
just not our cup of tea. Fireball is just not. I love the idea behind it, the flavor, but other people just make a million times better.
Right.
So, but then again, you like Tito's vodka, so I'm not going to complain.
Can't make too much fun of me, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, I have good taste, except for that
except for Tito's vodka. That's the only bad taste you have.
Sorry. But I do send you Crater Lake, so you forgive me because of that.
I know. I get Crater Lake out of the deal, so which I've not found better than Crater Lake here in Texas.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that. It's good stuff.
I know. I think I skipped some out last week, but I have very, very, very little of it left. So, anyway, all right. Well, before we go, let's talk about our Insiders Club, ladies and gentlemen. We have to give you the opportunity to join Insiders Club. It's a chance for you to do tastings with us in private, as well as other side things, and as well as get our recipes every week, get access to future shows coming up, get to help pick shows and ideas, as well as when we actually make something like the Lady Gin gin that we have that she has. You can get bottles of that, and we have a rye coming up. And
yeah, the rye won't be till probably August, September, and then there's a whiskey that will probably be bottled over the next month or so.
So I mean, but that's only available to the insiders. It is not made available to the general public. You have to be on the Insiders Club to get it. So go to likethewayyoudrink.com, click the button that says join the Insiders Club. Free to join, must be 21 to join. All your costs are included in anything you buy. If you don't buy anything, it costs you nothing. If you just come to tastings, it costs you nothing. If you buy stuff, all right, that's the place that you have to cover our costs on it. That's all we ask. So,
yep.
Anyway, other than that, sponsorships. Who sponsors this show?
I think we have two businesses to sponsor this show.
Who are they?
You and me? Our businesses are the sponsors. I am Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design. I help employers attract and retain quality staff through employee benefits. Guess what? With our podcast we did a couple of weeks ago, somebody got on my calendar and they were like, benefits? I have questions. And we had a great conversation. It was like 40 minutes going through what do they need? What are they trying to accomplish? And they're like, I hadn't thought about that. And that's what I love to hear. Not that I love to hear they didn't think about it, but now that they have that conversation, they're going to be able to take the ideas and implement them, which will make them a more attractive employer. And guess what? They're in California. They're not even here in Oregon and Washington, but that's okay. The conversation gave them a place to start, and we will go from there. So go to Insurance Design Pros on the upper left-hand corner. You will see where you can download 101 different ways to attract and retain quality staff, or you can just get on my calendar. Go to enrollnoworegon.com, and that's the link to my calendar. This is Gladys Boutwell with Insurance by Design, and this is my co-host.
She's going to have a new website soon. Just Stay tuned to watch her new website come out.
I wonder who's
Just because I know it's coming out. I wonder why.
I know somebody's working on it. And who's working on my website?
Of course I am. Come on. That's something I do. Simple, easy websites. So here's what someone asked me this week. Who's the ideal person, Tim, that I can introduce you to do your website? I want you to think about the last time you picked up a business card from somebody. Now, I'm going to use my buddy Steve's business card here because I know Steve. He's a great friend of mine. He's in the roofing game here in Texas, right? And Steve's not somebody I would look for usually if I was looking at business cards, because Steve, on the backside of his card, has his website down here at the bottom, right? Number one. The second thing is his website is down here in his email address, right? If I pick up your business card, and I'm not going to say who this is, all right? But this one here, I'm going to cover their picture so you don't know who it is. At the very back here, it says her email address is at Outlook or yahoo.com. Those are the people I'm looking for because, I probably could give them a professional email address probably for free. They probably don't even know that they can get it for free. And I'd like to help them walk them through it. So if you know somebody, all right, who you pick up their business card and they have their domain name for their website, and then they have an email address that says gladysboutwell@gmail.com, have them give me a call. I would love to share with them how they can have a professional email address to match their actual website. Tim Gillette, Simple Easy Websites. And
I want to thank the Jefas for my taco-proof lipstick, although I think I was going through so many tortillas that a little bit of it did come off, not much, but it does last. And I wore it last Thursday at the Rotary Heart of Gold. I had, by the end of the night, I still had lipstick on. So thank you.
How many guys did you kiss? Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. I wasn't supposed to say that.
Listen, you'll have to ask him. I had him right here. He was with me. So I actually transferred. I had just put on the lipstick when he gave me a kiss, and I was like, oh, because it hadn't set yet. And then I'm like, you need to wipe your lips down because.
How many kisses did Sean get? Did he try the lipstick? I'm just curious. Sean, if you're that kind of guy, I'm not judging.
I know. I think he took it right off. He did have a napkin in his hand, so he's like wiping it off. I don't know.
Sean either loves me or hates me, okay? He knows me, he talks to me very well, but he's not met me in person yet to punch me in the mouth. But I'm sure we're friends. I'm pretty sure. I don't think we're going to be enemies. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for being here with us today. Make sure you like us and follow us, share. If you've learned something, we've made you laugh, please share. Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is, please share with your folks because we appreciate it. After 100 plus episodes, we want to expand a little bit more, get to share our knowledge with those around us and have them, enjoy and have fun the way we do with our podcast. So thank you all very much for your support.
So cheers, ladies and gentlemen.